is item 1.
Is it just like my left?
Yeah, let's just say it's.
I can't just use it to do anything.
No, honestly, it was literally,
As I walked away.
yeah. I just pointed something out and they got going and
It died.
come on,
Good. Item 1, election of the chairman.
Yeah.
Hello, every time you also elect chairman.
We'll have to do the declaration, we'll sign the declarations afterwards, because after last week, the agenda, and
So
then,
do I need to put myself forward and then consent
somebody
it?
else can put it forward.
I'm nominating you.
I'll second that. Yes, I would say that.
Can we?
Vote on it?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Can we vote on that? Okay.
He's free to sign the declaration, but after printing out my agenda, it's printed theirs.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be sitting there now, it just sort of kind of like big thinking.
Mine at work just thought, we get.
And just when you
Gonna
give it
have
up,
2 weeks later.
yeah, just when you bring that up, it then suddenly starts whirling away, but printing out.
No problem. To elect vice chairman. Yeah, I'll second that. There we go. And we'll vote on that. Thank you very much.
And again, just sign it later.
Thank you very much.
Apologies of absence, we have Councillor Evans, Councillor Flint, not heard from Cameron. I met him after the last meeting and he apologised. Disclosures of interest. Go through presenting myself. Just open the door.
No, it just, I don't think it ever should something Gemma's forceful.
It's like I literally walked up the street as the truck's gone down the street.
Any disclosure of interest? No? Okay. Any public questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Okay. Sorry, can you speak up?
Yeah, I'll just-
I
think it's where
I was just turning the page to get the right bit.
That's good.
Yeah, the questions relate to the red phone box. It's been on the ongoing matters list since June 2021. It's now May 2024. So the question is, what quote has been obtained, who is it from, and when is the start date for work to be done on it?
Sorry, it's paused because we need to, it's on my list because I need to get I need to chase up the,
We need an updated quote from the.
yeah, an updated quote which I have asked for, but we also need the ancient monument consent, which is what I needed to chase up.
It's my understanding that all the consents were given back in
No.
before the interjection with the airfield. That was to go ahead at that point, which is
No, because I thought it was, but when I spoke to, they were going to remove it, and then when I spoke to NCC about the work being done in situ, which was the updated quote, so it had changed, and NCC at that point said that I would need Bridges consent, which I sent off to NCC, and I thought that would be all needed. Then when the Bridges team came back, they said, by the way, you'll also need ancient, like this, it's historic England consent because it's a listed monument.
so none of those were in place previously when they
They
actually
weren't,
came
no.
here to actually vote on these.
Because at that point it was to be removed, but when they said it was going to be done in situ, we needed Bridges consent because the work was taking place on a bridge, so that was from a different department. So when it was to be removed, that was a street works thing, I think, and then when it was in situ, that's when they said you'll now need Bridges consent, which I got, and then the Bridges team said that I would need ancient monument consent.
Right, so in May 2023 when it went back to the original plan, and it was to go back to NCC. So we're now a year, we're up to a year.
Yes.
So we've now nearly got to a start date.
Do we have a...
Yeah.
I'm just trying to... Can we speed it along a bit?
Yeah,
to
second
that
question.
particular point you're wanting?
No, well, it's up to date.
That would be nice to have a quote for it.
Yeah, right, okay, right. So
Yeah.
you're right. We'll obtain a quote, we're going to get the historic
I have
evidence
these-
consent, and then it will proceed. Just to get that along to whatever you were wanting. Listing dates isn't helping us, to be honest. Okay?
I think it just puts it into context.
Yeah, it
So-
takes,
so-
it
so-
takes time for stuff like this.
I'll
to
get
go
to the
through.
next question.
Okay.
Within the denied joint council meeting, which took place on the 28th of March at Felton Village Hall, Thurston, Felton and Newton-on-the-Moor parish councils, the following matters were discussed but not disclosed by the chair at the last meeting. These included 2 items: the parish boundary changes and transferring the cemetery back to NCC ownership. I was wondering if the chair could inform the residents of what's being proposed.
We haven't had any proposals through yet.
I'm asking the chair,
Okay.
since the chair was at that meeting.
Again, we're going to get on to that meeting, not meeting. We'll debate that forever. I don't care your opinion, my opinion, everyone else's.
I'd just like answers to the
So,
questions.
yeah, so my understanding, there was a resident that went to their parish council meetings to ask questions on this matter, I believe. You may know them.
Could you just answer the questions about the parish boundary?
I had a conversation, as we discussed it last meeting, that I didn't feel there was anything other relevant to pass on.
So there's, so the parish boundary changes is not of interest to the parish.
Because nothing
Well,
has
because
been
nothing has been
yet.
proposed at this time. Until we have a proposal on what they're looking for, then there's nothing more to discuss on that matter.
I think
Well,
previous,
that's not the impression being given by Swallin,
Being given by who?
Swallin Parish
Because
Council.
they've already had discussions about this previously. This is
Correct.
a historic thing which they wanted to do previously. It has been raised again as something that they are now looking to revive, and they said that they would send us through a proposal when they had it. We have not had any formal proposal of what they would be suggesting that the change would be. So we have nothing to debate yet.
so the potential proposed parish boundary changes are the same as the proposed parish boundary changes that have been made in
They
the
haven't
past.
confirmed that.
Potentially,
No,
it
no,
might be,
but
until they formally
right.
propose them to us, we would not be able
So
to
the
comment.
transferring of the cemetery back to NCC ownership, I believe this actually came about around about 2021. There was talk about it going back to NCC, a potential. I looked at it at the time, but then obviously COVID and things sort of took over. So that is looking as though that potentially could be back on the cards.
There was a proposal from one person on a parish council that they would like it to be considered and that they were going to look at it because they felt that it could be done strategically by the county council at a cheaper cost than currently it's costing the 3 parishes.
Yeah, I think some of the outlying areas in Northumberland are sort of looking at a similar thing because of the exponential costs of running of cemeteries. So I think that's definitely worth looking at and pursuing sort of further down the line. That's my questions, thank you.
Exactly.
Pardon?
I said it wasn't what you ended with there, Fiona, it was not a question, it was you expressing your opinion on it.
It was a question whether you answered the question and I'm agreeing with it.
Yeah.
Item 6 will be deferred. Item 7, minutes of previous meeting. To approve and record those minutes as correct with the council meeting held on the 15th of April. Unless Councillor McGrew. Geez.
Sorry, have we got?
and new ones.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
The difference between a committee and a working group, if there is projects on the go which need discussions to be held, if there's no formal decisions to be made, there's not a need for a full meeting and a clerk and in the position we're in where we are not going to have a clerk for very much longer. It might be worth considering, in future meetings of councillors might be better done in working groups for every committee.
And then brought back.
And then brought back to the main council for discussion. It just may help.
That's what I think how it originally worked, and then then it would sort of move the other way, that we would have committees that could take decisions, and then we've got it,
Because unless there's a proposal to put back to the parish council, is there a necessity to hold a full meeting and have a clerk and pay for time and things until while you're talking about potential things happening in the village rather than before you make a decision on something, is there a need for an actual committee meeting rather than a working group? For instance, when the property management committee meets for a working group, we're not deciding to propose anything to the parish council. It's just where are we, what's the position, is there have we seen anything on our walk around, etc. Do we need to have a meeting? Yeah.
So if there's some major action, then you
Yeah.
I think what you could do is appoint
Come back
committees
around
ready, and then you've got them if you need
Yeah,
to.
you put a point on the point is
Appoint
when
Then-
committees
then
and then
say
have
that-
working groups for
Yeah.
each committee at the same
I
time.
think that's in when we need
Because,
it.
So we could just say in there, so we could just have in there,
so we
It
would
would
say
say-
to then committee / working group.
and then it would say working group to meet as required,
I'm happy with that. Are we all happy with that too?
The point I'm trying to say is, like the rec field committee, you could actually have a rec field working group to go and
look at it.
action all hills.
to physically have a walk around.
Whereas you don't necessarily need a committee meeting to
Right.
organise it, but
Right.
can the childish sniggering at the back please stop?
Actually, that's
Well,
insulting.
can we make
It's not insulting.
It is
You're
insulting.
insulting us here, okay?
No, because exactly.
But
Can I ask what you're laughing at? Because I've just said something, you've laughed at me.
Can I answer that? Can I answer
no,
what we think is amusing by it? Because what you're suggesting is replacing committees with working groups which have no openness and transparency.
so
That's why you're
No,
suggesting doing it.
No,
I was actually laughing because actually what you can do.
Mr. Kazuziak, for the just in case you misunderstood what I'm trying to say, rather than have to wait to hold a meeting, if there was a working group for instance, the rec field committee, if there was a problem that a working group could go out and assess or have a walk around or do something such as there's a gate falling off. We've got to wait until we have a committee meeting, we've got to have 5 days clear notice, that's all I'm trying to say. So actually laughing at me is a downright insult, and I'll ask you not to do that again.
Actually, I think if you look at your terms
I'm
of
sorry.
terms of reference.
I'm sorry. Please do not laugh at me and then try to preach to me. If you have something to say, I will always listen to you and I won't be laughed at.
I was not laughing at you, I was laughing at the suggestion.
I had just said something, Fiona, and you laughed at me. It's not necessary. The last couple of parish council meetings I've been, there's been sniggering and jeering from behind the camera.
Actually, that's
Excuse me, we've just had the Councillor Cuthbert sniggering.
Yeah.
what?
I didn't hear you objecting to that.
When was I sniggering?
You made a comment about,
About when you made a comment
Right,
about
can we
us.
just-
That's
can-
enough.
can we
That's
just-
it.
right.
You may wish to have a look at your video, but I literally stopped speaking, and then a member of the public started laughing at me. It's not acceptable.
We'll agree that there's going to be no sniggering going on for the rest of it, okay? That's we appreciate, okay?
from everyone.
All right,
Yeah,
so
from everyone.
Fine.
you've
Thank you.
offered to
Can
just...
you please stop? We've ended this discussion on it, okay? We'll agree that there'll be none of that going forward. Thank you. I think that's a very good proposal.
So what was that?
Well, you're staring at us, so I'm wondering why you're staring at us.
So what was the?
Well, it's an expression what you're staring at.
I'm looking, I'm not staring.
Well, it looks like an intimidating stare to me.
Right.
Can
Okay,
we just
right.
move on, please?
Right.
Sorry?
If this continues, we will have to ask you to leave, okay? We're not wanting to have the meeting disturbed constantly, okay? Thank you. I think it's a good suggestion from Councillor Cruden.
Adam,
Yeah.
minute it that I've changed my mind. I think it's a bad idea because of the member of the public his immediate response to the idea. So please have it minuted that I've changed my mind and I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
I still think it is a good idea
I
because
still think it's a good
Yeah.
idea because, as we say, it gets action quicker than the committees for certain things. So it's something that we definitely
it isn't
think
just
should.
that, is that we've got members of this community that live here and want to get involved with this, that would be much happier working on a working group rather than a committee
Yeah.
for this very reason.
No, understood. Okay.
Whether this lists on
On the board.
Lists on the board. So we have Biodiversity, Climate Change Committee and Working Group. John, are you happy to continue on?
If I can be taken off the biodiversity group for the moment, please.
So, Councillor Cuthbert and Bolton,
I'm happy to stay
you're
on.
happy to stay on.
Yeah.
And my understanding,
yeah, Councillor Evans has said he is happy obviously at the present time. He will be taking a little break, but he is wanting to continue.
Complaints Committee, all members apply. Felton Joint Secretary Committee, we need a working group for that one, do we? Because it's
I
a
don't
joint
think
committee,
it's
so-
a working
so
group, I think it's just the committee.
I'm happy to continue on,
Yeah.
and yourself too. Finance Committee,
I don't think I was ever meant to be on the finance committee.
no worries, I'll drop you out there, so it's again Councillor Evans, MacDonald and Lawton. Recreation
Is
Field,
it worth putting an extra person in there?
yeah, we could.
I think I was on as a reserve.
Yeah,
and I
Yeah,
think
can we
it's
continue as a
well.
reserve, just for the foreseeable, just in, because, well, maybe.
But can I just have an R in brackets after my name?
Yeah.
So I'm not to come after.
Royal.
Sorry, Royal German, yes.
Recreation Committee and Working Group then, I'll say I'm happy on that one. Councillor Cuthbert, so, and Cruden.
Mr. South has said that he would like to be
Yeah,
part of the recreation
Yeah,
field
confirm.
working sort of group.
Property Management Committee, and
As is.
Working Group, happy, yeah.
Check with Ian.
Check with Ian, but I'm sure that's fine. Contracts Group,
I think we should just,
Working Group,
I would know we should just deal with that as it arises.
I wonder whether we could put contracting policies together.
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah. So, Contracts Working Group and Policy Review Group, will
I don't think Councillor Evans has said that he has time for that at the moment.
He did say that he'd look at the
Okay, so
rec field
Okay, I'll check.
contract that I've been working on for me, but I don't want to bother about this.
No.
So we check it, so it's delayed.
I'm happy to join that
That would be
even
helpful,
for a
yeah.
temporary period, just to,
Well,
because
to be
that's a
honest,
contract we'd really like to get out.
Effectively, two of us is not very great.
No.
There needs a third, so that we are here, we've got a cast and roll.
Yeah.
Well, we don't normally, but sometimes, you know, we're deciding stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll just do the meeting when we get to that update part of the agenda.
Cool. So, done that. We're on,
Time and place for all meetings.
yeah, time, place, for meets the schedule there of the suggested dates for meetings.
Just noting that the May ones move forward a week from where it would normally be because of the bank holiday.
Okay.
Can I make a request that we'll have, you know, how you did once before?
Yeah.
The Thursday,
Yeah.
other committee meetings and things,
It's worth
just to
having
help
a-
us planning, you
Yeah.
know, for dates and times and things.
And I'm suggesting that we because obviously the 3rd of June is not very far away, we don't have the 3rd of June as an ordinary parish council meeting, we use it to deal with the accounts because they're pretty much, they're coming back in now and they don't know what to know.
So then on to
11, so that's just our standing orders say that we deal with these things, but we've completed our review of policies at the April meetings, a few more to be reviewed, there are more meetings for a review, and then the subscriptions, and then we only really pay the NALC subscription. Anyway, so that's in with the budget setting in October.
we'll move on to item 12, to receive financial summary and budget monitoring. So anything that
what I've done is to make it clear how much money we've got currently to spend. I've split the budget into two lots because obviously until we get the second preset in, we haven't got that money to put into the budget. Some of the stuff will end up getting paid early, like the insurance will actually all come out now, so we'll look like we've overspent, but then the second amount comes in. We'll work out. I've moved our housing contribution cost number out to right to the other two.
Yeah, I think that was definitely one that's worth just getting done. Was there any reason why it's 3 processes there, so that's going to be round up?
I think, yeah, we've found it.
Yeah, okay.
Because we can't put enough, we
You
can't
can't
put
put any things, perfect.
So that's something really to say. There's a little bit come in, oh, half the precepts come in.
What's the
Electricity.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right, close your eyes, I'm whizzing back.
To authorise payments, we've made
So it's half of the statutory contribution, so we'll do half now and we will do half in September.
for the website.
And the annual
subscription.
national subscription, yeah. Simon Wilson, that's the allotments for Rec Lane. Jeering is what it is. Staff, I have now sorted out the technical issues, but what I'll do is I'll put that onto the meeting on June to approve, but I'll get paid, I will get paid in the meantime. I had the lady on the phone talked me through a very complicated set of manoeuvres on my computer which fixed the problem. Basically, it was all worked at the end of the year submission. Luckily, happily, I did a backup. And then it updated the system and it wouldn't open and it just said it didn't have access to the folder it needed to have access to. And I'm like, but I haven't changed anything. So, yeah, but she sorted it over for me, so it's perfect. So it's resolved now.
We happy with payments?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. To appoint a member to verify bank reconciliation in accordance with financial regulations 2.2. So it can't be me. Is that right?
It can't be me.
It can't be you.
It can't be me. It could be.
No,
It's finance and magician part, isn't it?
Oh, that's right, if you're a visitor.
We're back to that finance committee structure then. Does anyone fancy it?
Not that we're
I haven't got very many,
looking
well,
at
do you want to, who missed Ian and
Ian,
Peter and Richard?
but Richard's on the finance committee, so we can.
Does it have to be Ian or Chris or?
Ian sounds good.
third of June as well.
But fair back to the 3rd of June,
It's
just
not bad, I did it
Monday,
for a while,
Tuesday,
and it's
Monday,
honestly quite straightforward.
yeah.
I think I have to go up and down.
Don't think we need any additional signatures at the moment, do we?
We've got 3. Are you happy to still continue?
Mucker resurfacing, I think that's just then getting that contract sorted.
It's just finalising the contract, I wanted to check,
Provisional water?
water,
Yes.
are you absolutely fine with that? When they take the top surface loose chippings off, the agreement I got from Councillor Senator at the time was that all that loose chippings would be swept up and transferred to the parking area. Are we all right?
And next to the
Everybody-
substation there, where
Yes, next to the
Yeah.
substation, are we all right
Yeah.
just with that sort of happening? I want to put in to the contract that if he's taking on heavy machinery and stuff across the field, that he make good any indents or sort of problems with that. I'm going to say that it would be good if it could be done and avoid the period by the roundabout there, because we don't want them washing off with loads of water or having wet surfaces or anything while they're
What date's the fair?
13th of July.
Do you think we could get it done by then?
That's where I was hoping that we could get it turned around and get it done
Yeah.
by then.
How much water do they need?
Oh, gallons. It's quite a lot.
I've got an animal feed tank, like a 1,000 litre tank. I can fill it and drop off.
That might be good, because I think that they were talking,
I think that's-
like about it, effectively they were going to have like,
So I'll just put down that
water
you
barrier.
two are going to sort water access between you.
No, what I mean, so you can get it from me.
Like, are you on the water main?
Oh yeah, that's what we get off you.
Yeah.
But the other problem is, it's, you know, how we get it along the lane and stuff like that, isn't it? So those are just bits and pieces like that. And then I'm just going to go with the same colour scheme that Swollen have on theirs. So the lines will all be recognisable, and it's not too in your face.
Can we try and push them to get it done?
So it's, I think as soon as possible, we can try and get that done ASAP then, yeah. If you want it, you can get that over to me, we can do that.
It'll be a great thing. Be a great thing to have done for the fair.
Wouldn't it?
And obviously, some
As long as there's no axe thrown on it.
we're going to put a sign up.
Don't think the axe broke and make it this year.
Maybe.
No plate smashing on there.
So yeah, so it's just a case of, and then that, are we all happy to spend the sort of nearly £4,000 it's going to cost to do it now?
Yeah.
You know, given that we've got the planning permission and everything
Yeah.
happening, okay?
Surgery.
I'm losing the random
I don't think we're in a position where we can approve the lease, in my opinion, at the moment. We're
just
somewhere hitting a wall with Assura with regards to certain terms. And have we had any official back from our solicitors on it?
Well, they just
Apart from Assura's
Apart from
obviously,
so
It's going to be worth saying out loud what funds are.
yeah. So our solicitor so they obviously proposed the change, some changes to remove protective covenants in there. Our solicitor pushed back because although they're not usual in a 999 lease, it's not prevented from being in a 999 lease, so we could have them. And sure, basically have said no.
certain reinstatement clauses and stuff like that,
I think
which
we talked about
are valuable to us as a village, given it's right at the forefront of the village at the entrance. If something had to happen, it would need to be reinstated or to some sort of degree. Whereas they are on, well, if they don't deem it financially viable, they don't want to. They just wash their hands of it effectively or make it safe, and that would be it.
So reinstatement is referred to the reinstatement of the entire building.
whereas they deem it if they don't believe it to be financially viable, they wouldn't proceed with that, and they would effectively.
I think the other ones were
Well,
the
the-
other ones was the getting reasonable consent,
Yeah.
sorry, consent from ourselves not to be unreasonably withheld
Yeah.
to do like any external changes. Things like that, so that's not usual for a 999 meeting, but it isn't, but it's going to be such a prominent position. And especially if you've got the wording not to be unreasonably withheld, that's quite normal wording, and it's just a chance to say yes or no. But they don't want that either. So it's like it's
The
things that
feeling
would
is
have
that
been
they're
in
trying
there.
to back out.
Well, it's the thing. No, I think it's the things that they agreed to in principle in the 125 leases. It is normal in those, and then they requested the change to 999, which we sort of reluctantly agreed, and then they've now said, oh, well, now it's 999 lease, these aren't things like usual, please remove them. So, and now they're just absolutely, it feels very much from the email we got from Andrew. It feels very much from the email we got from Andrew that they're now saying, sort of drawing their line, that, we have to agree on their terms or walk away. That was basically the first of that email. Like, he got to the point where I think if it was a kind of what if it was something like, there was no further scope for negotiations.
So that's the.
Do you want it back on the agenda for the 3rd, and then that moves
I
on
think
to the...
Put it on back on for the Friday, I can even try and.
Can we actually see the current version?
Yeah.
Because I think when I looked for my current version, I think mine was 3 versions ago,
Yeah,
and
just
I haven't seen what the current.
I think it's because there's been a series of changes, but they've not all been compiled together. It's been
we'll get the final version and then we can have that.
It just gives us an idea of what we're actually facing and what we're signing up for, really. I mean,
How
I
long do
think
you think they'll drag it out for now?
I think if we don't accept that, it's we're either accept or walk away. Is my interpretation of it.
When do we want to make that decision?
That's what I'm saying.
I
Do we
think-
make it on the 3rd?
If we get the final lease sent round, everyone can have a look at it, make their judgment, and then we can have a vote on it on the 3rd. Or we'll give a further update if anything has changed in between. I can.
I mean, whichever way it goes,
But it
just
went for
make
a period
decision on this.
Yeah, it went for a period where Andrew was chasing me, saying, why didn't you get back to us? I then went to him, we've heard nothing from your solicitor, so he then chased his lot to come back.
I think given the fact that we've got the annual parish meeting in between now and then, it would be a good idea to raise this point with the village and get a consensus of opinion, because
Good, yeah.
I think
These might not be
know the
concerns.
situation that we're actually in at the moment.
Just say
I can't help but think they're just pushing back until we say we're not having it, and then they can just.
and then we get the blame for it.
But
So,
you know,
that allows us then, we've got that next week, and then the following Monday we'll have the parish council meetings, and it gives us a good opportunity to get more information before we actually put.
so far down the road with that developer, but we've got at the end telling something you already know, we've got to do the rest of the village, and if the rest of the village is a different developer, then so be it.
I think most of the village is just a little bit sad with the situation at the moment, and this is an issue.
It's a service they get as well.
I mean, I know that nothing, it doesn't matter what building is there and what.
I say, but then we still
it
need to
is,
get this
you know,
poor service
Yeah.
in a brand shiny new building. Is the building actually going to change the service? Probably
The
not.
things in the contract have to be cast iron to protect the village from what could be. So for me, before I'm willing to sign anything or willing to say aye, it's got to be watertight and cast iron.
I don't think the PPG have been included in any sort of discussions around them lately either, from what I've heard.
So should the
Does
decision?
anyone know who's head of PPG?
Is it Jeremy's call?
they're not really
Yeah,
jobs.
sorry.
I think it might be doing
I think it's 20, that's the person that's who has been there.
Ah, okay.
I'll ask you.
If she knows who it is, maybe suggest that we come along on the annual meeting. It would just be good to hear their side of it as well. So, committees and working groups. I don't know, have we any?
Cemetery meeting.
Oh, cemetery meeting, yeah.
One of the things that things that is ticking along, we did comment on the fact that there wasn't much business at the moment, but it seems quite callous to go out and advertise for people for the cemetery. One of the things that came from the WIA request to put copies on the War Memorial for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which we obviously granted because we thought that was really important. And Jill, I think you agreed to take that back to the
Yeah,
WIA, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. That's right.
And we talked about the state of the flag and the fact that it was looking a bit sharp. So,
and just to comment on that same thing, because on the correspondence we had an email to say when we're holding a silence or anything at the War Memorial for the D-Day.
I think it would be nice to mark the occasion if we could. So it's about getting notifications out to people to say that there will be something.
The parish council stretched to a wreath. Was that?
I'm not sure a wreath's kind of.
Mm.
I don't really know, to be honest.
There isn't really much point in doing that, I think.
Because we talked about whether the flag needed to come down or whether it's.
I wondered if it was one of these ones where you took the flag, put the flag to half mast and the back was north, but
Something we can have a think about.
well, we know because when is it? It's really soon, isn't it?
It's just
6th of June, yes.
So we need to know when, if there's going to be a silence, it's because we need to say it's going to be organised.
I think we should. Personally, I'm not be able to be there because I'll be at work, but I do think we should have something to mark.
Maybe we just say something like that while there's no
The
official,
people who
there's no
gather,
official
yeah.
obligation, but if people want to get,
Together.
Yeah, the difficulty is.
So I think that's what we need because we're not, it's not a road closure, so
Is that not what
it's,
we do on the 11th anyway? On the actual day of remembrance?
I don't know,
People go and gather down at the
because there's no
War
road
Memorial.
closure, there's no road closure. No,
No, there's
Not
not.
in the.
Not on the.
on the
Yeah,
Remembrance
So
Sunday,
it's
the
the
road
11th itself.
closure.
I think we've just redone the ramp and things, and we were talking about planting down there and things. I think, wildflowers and poppies and things being scattered down there, and those is going to mark that, and we can say that we can support that. And if WI want to do it, then, that'll be grand, and we're doing this as a mark of remembrance on that.
Okay.
And I think it would tie in with all of that.
so just say that we are doing a planting down there,
Yeah.
and
If people want to gather, we can do that. We can't stop them.
say,
So,
But no, but it's
But I think it's nice that we're acknowledging
I
it.
just say congregation, but no road closure, be careful.
Might be on the feet from that Harris fencing, and so we could return it to the owner.
Jeez. Do you want it back? I know you
I'm
can get
not
a
sure if
panel,
you
but
knew that they were still there.
yeah, the feet are still there. Everyone's it.
Right.
Do you know whose bird feed it is below that?
Sorry?
There's bird feed buckets
Bird
below.
feed?
Yeah, buckets full of bird feed below the ramp. So it's going mouldy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Someone used it for feeding the ducks.
I'm assuming it's some feeding Dutch, and there's bird feeders along some of the trees there.
Unless it's Can that have done it.
I wouldn't have thought that
But
that's.
no, they wouldn't have left it.
But it's just because it's not properly sealed containers. It just goes mouldy.
I'll check with Cam, they're not doing something down there, and I will inquire with Jamie what he wants to do about the feet.
Yeah.
When my phone's not dead.
Busy day then for you.
Sorry?
Was it a busy day for you then?
Just dying.
Neighbourhood plan.
We've had Alan is still on the neighbourhood plan, which is, I think, now also needs to convert it to a working group because Alan will still be heading it up as far as I can tell, despite not actually being on the parish council. He has sought some updates this week about the housing needs assessment. So we've had an update of that, and that's in the offing, and it should be with us within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. In which case we'll be taking it forward from there, because that was the first step, was to get the housing needs assessment done.
So you're still involved in on the working group, or you're not on it?
Sorry?
Are you still?
I'm still
Still
involved with it,
working
yeah.
group?
Do we need to?
So, yeah, so
Creation of a working group for that then?
We have non-elected members of committees.
For work, you can, they can't commit,
We can't vote.
they can't vote, but I think because it's fine to count in as a working group, then it has to be decisions to here to be made.
Yeah, and I think this we've said it time and time again, the reason why, well, one of the reasons why the neighbourhood plan didn't continue the momentum it should have done last time is because it wasn't being driven forward by the parish council. We've got to have parish council involvement with it, and it is part of that. But as I said, I think generally the predicament that I'm at the moment being involved with the neighbourhood plan and the biodiversity planetary group is that Alan and Richard were major forces on those groups. Alan's no longer on the parish council. He's no longer involved with biodiversity and climate change or the Cookie River Action Group, but he is still involved in the neighbourhood plan, and he will continue, I think, to be the driving force on that. So I think it is going to have to switch to being, just a working group, but I'm obviously happy to feed it back into the parish council.
Because the parish councils, so the way that the parish council will eventually be the body that puts forward, that's entitled to put forward the neighbourhood plan. So it would be fine for any working group to produce a plan, to submit it to the parish council for approval, to say, would you now, as a parish council, be willing to submit this forward? Do you submit this? Do you accept it and will you submit it? Obviously, if there's no interim involvement, the risk is that it's not what we envision it to be, or I think it's going, it's not going the same way as we imagine it's going, or that it's not producing the kind of policies that the parish council will support. So I think as long as it's regular check-ins to sort of say this is the direction, this is the policy, this is the list of policies that we're thinking of, and so that we've got an indication of how it's shaping up. And I guess if you're involved, then that's brilliant. You can provide that sort
What I
of feedback.
can't do is step into what Alan was doing and leading it.
No, I think it's fine for Alan. I think that's what I'm saying. It's fine for the neighbourhood plan group to take it forward and to produce a plan. But because the parish council is going to have to approve it, it just needs to be. It just needs to be so that we don't. So there's no surprises when it comes to. We don't want it to be brought to us, and it's something that we didn't envision at all and we can't support.
And I think some of the funding that goes with it as well needs parish council. Parish council on board.
Okay.
So the neighbourhood plan had asked me if I could spend some money from the budget on just obtaining copy titles and copy plans from the land registry. It's £3 for each. So for each piece of land, you're talking £3 for the title, £3 for the plan. And they're wanting to do. I mean, it's the area around the village.
Is it ones that are we wasting money on putting a land registry request in for people that we already know who own the land?
I don't know.
I think that we didn't know.
Some of it we're just not sure whether the lines are, who owns which bit. I think it's useful to just have a definite.
Without being awkward on it, can Alan, or you can ask back Alan, can we get a plan marked up on the
I think
blocks of land?
Kevin Westlake's done one.
Right, so, can we get see what it is, and then even.
It might well be that we can identify who owns what.
Can we just say that it could be agreed by, the expenditure should be agreed by emails, be approved by emails, that we don't have to come back to any, so that, we agree it in principle, subject to.
Yes, can you tell us how much money is not money?
Yeah, because
I don't know, that's what I'm not sure about. land registry and say, so I'll search the area, it will pop up all the land registry titles, and then we can say, right, we want these ones, and it's.
Because we can obviously have a conversation previously that there are landowners that own the majority of those areas.
Yeah, but some little parcels of land.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's like 10 titles.
No, I get it.
And if somebody knows who the landowner is.
Well, I think if we know who
So if
owns
I get a
those
plan-
10 parcels, then, or we have a conversation with the people at them and say, well, right.
If you had a map of the.
I think if you had a map, you could start work out who to even ask, wouldn't you?
But you have the
Because I know, I have
have
been
the
principle,
principle, but to get a
but
plan,
if we get a plan agreed
with titles, numbers.
with title numbers,
Yeah.
showing what ones they are, to then review it first, but I think it needs to, like, the quantity of them needs to be known, because a £3 a piece is that could be £300 or
Even if there was that map there, there's a lot of fields of fences and presumably each fence would be a different boundary.
But-
changed and so on.
Yeah, just knowing the lot of parcels that we can do for them, then even have a conversation with the one majority landowner, if he can mark up, right, mine. He owns it.
Spot as well.
He probably would be, because he probably would turn around and purchase it.
Is it just well known who owns it, or is there more information that comes?
Purely just who owns it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know whether Alan's maybe already had those
I
conversations.
think he's tried.
No, Alan hasn't. I managed to catch Keith the other day, who was on remarkably good form compared to what he was the previous time that I'd seen him with things, and started having a chat. And he has given us his official but not writing permission to put another poo bin on the new road. And I did start talking, but it's like he's very much, he says the things he wants to say and then shuts the door on the other things, as usual. But I think it's who has the time and whatnot to have a full meeting with him, I think, which is what it will turn into. Sorry?
Immediate pay leverage.
Probably less titles.
Potentially, yes.
So I think like we hope to agree the expenditure.
We're back in 2 weeks, aren't we?
Well,
Yeah.
back
Well,
in
if we put it on back.
defence of the fight, if we can just get a bit more
I mean,
information.
Alan will be frustrated with it and things, but I think.
It's just to know that, because some of it might be easily answered,
Yeah.
which
I
then
think it
reduces
depends
the
on what
quantity
it
of the
is,
ones that need done.
Yeah.
Or if it's 20 of them, then it's not much. It's just without knowing the quantity, I think it's just difficult to agree the expenditure.
Okay, next, 17, parish representation at meetings.
Any craggy?
Oh yeah, it's happening day by day. So the Coquet River Action Group is going really well. They have we started monthly testing at the start of April. We've got our next one on Monday. We're doing the first Monday of every month. They've got the
So can I interrupt? Have you done the test? Are you doing the test soon?
Monday, yeah.
Okay, because there's currently a foul water.
Yeah, we've got the
Well,
active
the one up at Coquet is currently overflowing into the surface water drain, which is going to go into the Coquet.
It doesn't matter because all the sewers are going in there anyway.
But no, but it's sewage going straight out the ground.
So it's sewage coming out.
Yeah, not from rainwater are currently on their way,
Right.
but it's currently flooding the street up there at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll be testing on Monday, and they've even in between monthly tests they are doing significant event testing as well for as many people that are involved. So we've got about 100 people involved in actually actively testing things now.
So you're doing significant event testing, or is that just?
We have done significant. So yeah, but it's the majority of people that all have test kits commit to doing it once a month on the first Monday a month or close to us can be. And then when the significant events, it's a volunteer commentary, additional input. So, and we've got, it's a really, seems to be a really kind of strong group that's happening at the moment. We are busy building a website at the moment. We've got a domain. That's all going well. Logo as well. We've got a date of, I think it's the 12th of September. So this is very slow. It's about to die. 12th of September, we're going to have a public meeting in Swarland. So that's good. So that's going to be up and coming and things. We should have a lot of other things there. And I've got my article going out in the Bridge, which kind of covers everything. If it is in the Bridge, yeah, which covers everything that we've been doing. So it is absolutely fantastic. And Jane Davis from over from Rothbury WI and Jamie have just done phenomenal amounts of work.
How's the app working out?
Sorry?
How's the app
App's working good and people are managing to input on it really well. So very happy with all of that. So yeah, funding, different applications going on. So yeah, all positive. And I am doing a talk for WI on the 8th of July, I think it is. Just to update them on what's going on with it as well. So, yeah, good.
Okay. 18, any work from so far? No. And Michael? Yeah, from Rare Police? No. Yeah, correspondence.
So we talked about the one for the WI.
Yeah. The order was a mess shop.
Oh yeah.
I think that's good for them to reach out, and I think it would be worth us having a conversation with them, whether we go there or they come here, or well, happy if you can touch base and see what they want.
Didn't the letter say that they would like to invite us to
What
a
is
collaborative group?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted the liaison officers, so they had some people, so it wasn't all of us.
Okay.
There's a group list that goes.
So they were, well, I think they were happy to meet with all of us, but they wanted us to kind of recruit liaison officers so they knew who they were going to and things, and that, they would have direct contact with.
But maybe we could, if we all want, if everyone wanted to go have a look and meet them, and then people could volunteer, but
Yeah.
they're happy to be the, to be, so they'll have a name to a face as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's good.
Have they been invited along to the annual general meeting?
Worth letting them know
Yeah.
just as if they want to pop along. Okay, so we've done that. So yeah, I think everything. Planning. Let's see that.
The planning, our planning application is now gone for us.
Good. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I came in just a minute the other day.
That's the money.
It feels like I've seen more refusal decisions coming through. Whereas it felt for a while they were very, it was very, it's a lot just going through, and then now I've seen quite a lot being pushed back. So I don't know if that's
The one, the land counties of the half old,
That's dealt with the
where
case.
they came into us.
No objections as well.
Well, that's
Well,
what
that's
it
not-
was, yeah,
I
for
would
us.
So that's live on the board.
It's like, yeah, it's gone too.
Nice.
I think so anyway. I got a it was still technically technically a consultee, we just get everything in our parish, so it came to me as a,
Can we
oh,
can
no,
possibly
no, we
comment?
can't comment on it. Well, I guess we could, but it'll just be yours, so.
Okay, is that just before you and thought high park on the drawing? Items for the next agenda, I think we completed a couple there that have been deferred.
So yeah, so it's going to be a slim, it would just be, on the third, it would just be those items that we've sort of like earmarked.
Yeah.
Tonight.
First week or something.
How many people are short at the moment?
Two. We need to have a chat with so we have to just remind them in our meetings. Ask them if he can come on that one.
Yeah.
Does anyone see the school or anything like that? We can give them a look at. Did you see him? Yeah, yes, if you can, just remind them. Check his emails maybe again. And then item 24 will defer to the 3rd of June as well. Sorry, 23, date next meeting, 3rd of June, 7:15, Village Hall. Item 24, deferred. So then, we should have a final update from the internal auditor by then. So that'll be good. And we'll close meeting 2012.